say your name one more time?
Debbie. My name is Debbie.
So we'll just get
Deborah.
started. If you could just start with telling us a little bit about your childhood.
A little bit about my childhood. It's funny how like my brain wants to go to all the terrible things, right? But I want to today speak on the good things. And the good things is that I had a really creative childhood. I do have a half sister, but I was a single child. And I was raised as such. And yeah, it was creative. It was fun. It was like when kids were always outside, you know, so there was always something to do. All people always biking, sidewalk chalk. I remember like doing hopscotch and everything with jump ropes and rollerblading, just like adventuring type. So that was a lot of fun. And yeah, so my mom wasn't at the time a U.S. citizen. And so I was the first U.S. citizen in my maternal bloodline. And when she came here, things didn't work out with Dad. So it was just me and her for a really long time. And I say it was just me and her, but really I remember it kind of being just me because my mom had to work a lot. And I was in daycare often. And it's interesting. I guess I've healed so much of my childhood that I don't really recall a lot, which is great. But I don't feel like when I was a kid, I don't feel like I was really awake. I feel like there was so much emotional crap happening all the time, and I was overstimulated all the time. I was like one of those kids that was just super highly sensitive, or I guess highly aware in a way. And I just felt like super pressured all the time, just kind of crumbling like this. I mean, all the time. And as a result, I would have like headaches. And so I do remember being in pain quite often. And then those like turned into migraines. And that happened very frequently. And now looking back on it, I can say that my pain was just not understanding what was happening. And I was just so upset, like all the time. Like I kind of used to joke around that I was like born depressed, right? I was just like, this sucks. Like all of this really sucks. Like I really want to be happy and I want to enjoy this cake, but you know, my dad's not here. Or I want to enjoy this successful thing in school, but Dad's not here. And I think looking back, if he just was out of the picture completely, it would have been maybe easier. But it was I'm going to show up for you. And I would get dressed and I would like wait for him to come. And then I would wait. And I would wait. And then my mom would get upset. And so now we're upset with each other. So there goes our bond. And then he never showed. Never showed. Or if he did, he would come back and it was always this and always this excuse or blah, 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 blah. And it just made me feel so invalid and insignificant. Yeah, and I define childhood up to like 12. And of course, like everything happened, all these other little things happened, but I think that was like the basic foundation of my childhood. My mom is very strong.
What were your dreams as a child?
My dreams as a child. So, I don't know if you know the book. There's a book with a woman that lives in a shoe with like all these children. And there's just like a picture of her just like steering like this pot, you know? You don't know that? I don't even know what it's called. I
see the picture right now in my
yeah,
head.
I'm like losing, I'm just going to call it The Lady in the Shoe. And what I remember of it, which I could be confusing the stories, but I remember her having lots of children and just like providing. And I just thought that was the most wonderful thing that someone could do, is provide like life and fun and safety for kids. And I think that's what I wanted. And so that's what I wanted to be when I grew up. Just feel, yeah.
Can you tell us more about your relationship with your dad? I know you touched on it, but maybe go a little bit more in depth on what that relationship was to you growing up and what it is to you now and how that felt.
Yeah, well, so my biological father is how I refer to him. It was just absent. It was, just absent. He had a lot of stuff on his own thing. You know, that side of the family is very addicted, has a lot of alcohol, has a lot of trauma. And unfortunately, they just didn't, I forgive them, right? So I speak in like forgiveness. He didn't have the tools to show up for me. He shows up for his other daughter though, but not me. And maybe that's because of his relationship with my mom, or maybe that's because my mom found love again, and I do have a dad. I have a stepdad. But you know, it's interesting because like my biological father, the type of love that I had with him, it was so strong, and it was because it was like always working for it. I felt like I was always working to receive love from him. And so he taught me through that relationship that you just have to work hard all the time for love, constantly, just like going, you know, and always doing what they want you to do just to be noticed, right? Yeah, I don't know. The memories that I have of him are sweet, right? They're sweet. And it's more like sensory. It's like I smell the alcohol, and I smell like the leather, and I smell like the gas from like the car, and like that whole picture is so cool to me still to this day, like that concept and the smell. But other than that, I don't really remember much. And my relationship with him now is the same. It's absent. And when I grew up as an adult, I just said, you know what? I'm not going to call him. And we'll just see. And it's been 3 years. You know, and that's okay. It's okay. I just never quite understood why I was treated so neglectful, and yet my sister, who's older, my half-sister who's older, actually, I don't even know their relationship, but it just appears to be so much more than what we were. And that's totally okay.
How do you go about the forgiveness aspect of it? How do you practice that?
Because hatred hurts. You know, I don't know. I guess I hit a point like early teens where I was like, I'm so tired of not being a happy person. I'm so tired of like, just feel, not even hatred, just feeling insignificant. You know, like, I don't know. Nowadays, like that was specifically with him. Nowadays, going about forgiveness, like I don't have the power to forgive someone. I can only forgive like how I feel towards that person. And they have to do their own healing and their own process. You know, I can't hold that attachment to them. They don't owe me anything in this life. They owe me nothing. Nothing at all.
What about your relationship with your mom and how that relationship felt for you?
My mom is tough. She's tough, but that's because she had to be. You know, she was like young and had a kid and came to the United States and didn't know anybody. You know, English was like her third language. And she had to work like 2-3 jobs all the time, around the clock. You know? And because of the terrible relationship that I had with my dad, she of course was so upset with that. And she didn't have the tools to separate that anger from him towards me. And so I would think that it was all my fault. Now I would internalize, you know, her frustrations around that relationship to be with me. And yeah, you know, she had an interesting life. I don't really know much about it, actually. I'm just now getting to know my mom. I'm just now getting to know, I'm just now getting to understand the way she thinks, because for the longest time, I had no idea. And, you know, it happened because we had a discussion as adults. We're like, you know what? We didn't get that bond. We didn't get that attachment. And it's something that we've always wanted, but it just wasn't there for whatever, life. And so it's nice as an adult to work with another person that you love very, very much and develop a different and good relationship. I do have very good memories with my mom. But I was a child that like internalized and felt loved with hugs and like, I don't know, just going and doing activities together, you know? Whereas my mom is a gift giver. And it makes sense because she works so hard that she wants to, you know, supply me with all these things, but then I would do all these things by myself. So, yeah, and I'm not much of a gift receiver, you know, but it felt good, and it still to this day feels good to her to like shower someone with gifts and love.
What would you say you learned from them, good or bad?
Well, I'm one of those boring people that doesn't do any drugs. Thank you, Dad. And I don't drink. Thank you, Dad. I also try not to get violent. Thank you, Dad. And I have a lot of compassion for people, and I'll say that's from my biological father as well. He was always serving other people. And again, never working on himself, right? And my stepdad, I call him my dad. He's just always so damn happy. And when I was a kid, it would kind of piss me off because I'm like, because again, it's like that I would feel like a little invalidated or like, not heard, but he has such a well, you know, it's life kind of perspective, and I'm not sure where he gets that from, but I do appreciate it. And he's just so forgiving. And with my mom, man, she's just so firm. She's just so firm. She knows exactly what she wants, what she doesn't want. You know, she just embodies strength to me. Endurance, you know, like nothing took her down. Nothing. Yeah.
Can you tell us about your first love and how that first love felt. It's whatever you associate with your first love, whether it's a person, hobby, thing, anything that you
Hmm.
immediately think of.
Yeah, so like love for me growing up was always changing. That word was always changing because again, like love originally felt abandoned to me. Um, yeah. So, as a child that felt abandoned, right, I would, of course, go seek relationships and friends with other people. And, of course, through that, I'm going to attract and like seek out more people that would abandon me, right? Like, that's just the pattern. But I did find someone when I was in my early teens, and I fell so in love. And I fell in love because this person would tell me that I was forgiven before I made any mistake. So, and I also at that time was the person that would like push and push people just to prove to myself that they're going to leave me. Right? Just to be like, aha, I knew. Because that's what happened before. But this person didn't leave. And yeah, it felt really good. It felt really good. It was like a true friendship. Yeah, so fun.
What about your first heartbreak?
Yeah, same person.
How'd that feel?
Well, different, you know. Um, It felt different because it was the first time I was in love, right? So it's like, ugh, it's so mushy and it's so fairy tale and it's so forever. And it's so like, I literally can't live without this person. Yeah. It's funny how like the hormones make one like think of them all the time. And that was back in like school where people would write letters to people, right? So I don't know. His parents were really odd and very strict, for good reasons. So a way we would communicate, and my mom didn't like him at all. And a way we would communicate is through like a notebook, like a school notebook, and I'd put it in his backpack, and he'd put it in my backpack, and it was a nice way to communicate because at that time too we didn't like fully have access to cellular phones, you know, so it was cool to have like handwritten notes by someone, and we would draw pictures and do all these great things. Yeah, but wow, it's interesting how I'm like processing and feeling all of these old feelings in the present moment. I'm so glad that I'm here in this healing mindset. It's taken a long time to heal from that. But my heart was first broken. Dang. Why can't I say this? Here we go. Yeah, okay. Dang, time does not heal all the time. Yeah, my heart was first truly broken the day I learned he took his life. Yeah. So then it goes back to the abandonment feeling. Yeah. And I don't think I ever told anybody this actually. I mean, the police officers know and like his parents know, but being the last person that someone speaks to before they take their life just really doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. But I am grateful. I'm grateful that his last words to me were, "I love you." And he was like, "Our love will be forever." Well, yeah, because it didn't get a chance. It didn't have an opportunity to go anywhere else. Yeah. I'm kind of laughing at it, but because it's been what? I was like a preteen. Mm-hmm. That sucks. It sucks. And it sucks so much because how like my trauma brain worked at the time, because I was a kid that was overstimulated all the time. I didn't even know at his funeral that he had died. Yeah, I remember again, like dressing up, thinking I was going to go see him. Mm-hmm. Oof. Yeah. It didn't really hit that he had died until like probably honestly like 6 months later. It really didn't. And after that had happened, it was just like a big snowball effect. I wasn't able to separate my feelings anymore. So I was this pissed off teen, and was just intentionally causing chaos. Because why not? Right? That's like how I was feeling. So might as well cause more. Yeah. And it was terrible because after that, he was like the first one in our town to like shock the town, right? And in an odd way, it started like this ripple effect where more kids were doing that. More kids were like pushing their limits. And it was like every 6 months, a handful of kids in our community would just die. And my friends too, you know, or they would do something so bad stemming from pain that they'd go to prison. And it's blasted on this news and it's blasted here and, you know, all the town gossip and all this stuff. Yeah. But that's North Carolina, right? I don't know if you know North Carolina, but small towns, Bible state, you don't do anything that's not proper. Yeah. Tragic.
What are some of the things you do now to like heal from that?
Well, I currently breathe. And I know it sounds so lame and it's so cheesy, but it's the best tool that I don't have to go anywhere to do. And the way that like breath works for everyone is truly profound and it's really powerful. And all you have to do is really just take one breath and you can change the hormone levels, you can, you know, change your cardiovascular system. You can control the thoughts in your mind. You can enter a parasympathetic state. And yeah, people like, life is trauma. Everything is trauma. And how we respond is trauma. And I just didn't want to, I wanted to live the rest of my life more happy than I did in my childhood and teen years. And I didn't want to keep putting myself in terrible positions because of my trauma. And I smile at that, but like back then I wasn't smiling. To truly feel crazy in the mind as a word that I am okay with using, it doesn't feel good. And it doesn't feel good because it's empowering. And it's like dangerously empowering and like enraging and violent, and like that's a big part of me And that's a big part of like who I am and my trauma. And so I just learned to breathe. And then I like to teach other people how to breathe too. Because what I give out, you breathe in, right? I really believe in that. And I believe in that beyond the breath. I believe that in thought. I believe that in feeling. I believe that we are all truly connected. Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm.
Who would you say first taught you love and how?
Well, Keto was his name. Yeah. And again, love's always changing. Keto taught me that love is forgiveness. Like forgiveness without judgment. Like you just give it. You give the gift of forgiveness so that someone doesn't feel bound to you. So that they don't have to change themselves for you, right? They do it for themselves. And then, yeah, my husband now too. He has taught me, my husband has taught me like true companionship. Where like life is fun. Where I live my life, he lives his life, and then together we create our own, you know? So we're still working on ourselves, and collectively we create something that's always beautiful, and we feed it, you know? We like feed that. Yeah, he's awesome. I feel so blessed to have him, truly. Yeah.
So I know that love is, we always add good things to love, so in that way, from our perspective, love is always changing, but it's always good. What's love to you now versus to what it was then? So your personalized definition as much as you can.
Of love?
Of love.
I think it's like a tune. I think it's a connection. And I feel it to be healing. Yeah, I feel it to be healing. I feel it to be like divine almost. To be like, to be the state of being that we're supposed to live in. I believe we're supposed to live in a state of love. And so that everyone around us can feel it at all times. And I really do think that it's a healing, a healing frequency. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can you describe the feeling of that love?
Yeah, I just felt it. You know, I'm still getting used to it. I can tell you what it's not first. The feeling of love is not worrisome. It's not expected. It's not heavy at all, like ever. Never. It's not even close to be like feeling heavy. Like the love that I am growing to learn and how to feel is very comforting. It's very comforting. It's like a flame. Yeah. It never goes out. It's just always there. And I can just pull into it at any time and just feel truly like, okay. Maybe trust. Maybe it feels like trust. But that's an interesting word for me. It feels safe. I would say love feels safe to me.
How is it getting used to being okay with love being safe versus it being maybe what it was before?
Yeah, no, it's a battle, man. It's not like, oh, I feel love and let me just feel it all the time. Like, no, it's work. Yeah. It's work because I have to like retrain myself to accept love, to be safe. Yeah. Like that's hard, you know? I went too many years thinking that love was one thing and now love is another thing and now love is this and a friendship with this love, it's like so many different things, but to like really believe and embody in my person that love is safety, even when I feel unsafe. Yeah, no, that's work. That's a lot of work. That's endless work. Yeah. I don't know.
What's a good day like for you? Like you're like, man, this is a good day.
So back to when I said I sometimes feel like I was just born depressed.
Yeah.
A good day is when I guess a good day is just when I sleep through the thoughts of something inferior. I don't know, something not so good. Yeah, not so good. I'm still very much so haunted by a lot of things. And so that I purposely and intentionally wake up with the sun just so that I can be in awe of its colors. You know, and I've done that for a long time. And beforehand, I would wake up before the sunrise just for the quiet. And I still do that. So I guess that's what a good day looks like. Just that very fragile first 5 minutes is if I can be like stimulated through quietness and like something peaceful, then I'm like, okay, today's going to be a good day.
What about a bad day? And how you get through that bad day?
I don't have bad days anymore. I have challenging days. Yeah, I don't. Just how I'm like redefining love, I have to redefine those other terms. And yeah, no bad days.
How's the challenging day?
A challenging day, what that looks like is just more work, more inner work. A challenging day for me would be a day where I like wake up and I know that anything could send me into like, people call it panic attacks. I call them episodes, just because they've changed throughout life. Like when I was a kid, I would have them, and now as an adult, I still have them. But I feel like they're more of something shifting inside of me, like something changing, than they are me panicking now. I feel it to be, even though it's like really, really painful, and I'm like out the whole day.
Can you describe the physical?
The feeling? Yeah, so so when I receive panic attacks or episodes, I begin to feel them right behind my neck, and it's like talking about it just kind of, oof. It's warm and it's prickly, and it feels very just like that heaviness again. And then just like grief comes over me, lots of grief. Lots of grief, and then I can't breathe. And sometimes like, oh, it sucks so bad. Sometimes my vision it's not like blurred, but it'll almost just be like, I just can't see. It's not black. It's not darkness, and it's not blurred. I can't see, and I don't recognize where I am. And I get hot flashes, I get cold flashes, I start hyperventilating, I start trembling. And now that I've had them so many times, I'm just kind of like thankful that I start to, like when I start to feel the tremble, because then I know that it's almost over. But really what it looks like, my routine, because anybody else who has these, establish a routine, because like it sucks being out in public and shutting down like that, you know? But I just do it now, actually. Like, there's no embarrassment because I can't control it anymore.
Yeah.
I really can't. I'm just that lady that's just sobbing, shaking, and now crumbling to the ground, you know. She's okay. She's just feels like she's dying, you know, no big deal. But yeah, it's really painful, and it's like my muscles tense up, and I'm literally almost like seizure like having these violent episodes, and they last a long time, and they last longer when I resist it. Like when I try to delay it from happening, or yeah, I just have to really surrender to it. I just really have to surrender and just let it happen, and then hopefully I can sleep after it. And it's interesting too, because now that I've done like so much, I contribute it to like my breathing and like breathing practices. And now that I've learned how to breathe and established different breathing patterns, there's almost like a euphoric feeling when it's done, when those episodes are done. It's like a big wave. Like I no longer feel heat. I no longer feel pain. I can like breathe. Breath has really become so important to me, because not being able to breathe and like suffocating above water is not okay. So, yeah.
What's a person or an event that shaped you, good or bad? How does it feel when you reflect on that?
An event or person? Goodness, everything.
Yeah.
Let's see, what's one that I would like to speak today? Okay, yeah, we'll go with that one. An event that has shaped me today, the person that I am today. Oh, that's so funny. It's like such a monumental moment in my life, and I'm losing it as we speak. But I want to speak on it. I guess I still have some fear and resistance in saying it, so maybe that's why the memory's not coming back to me. But the overall concept is the day that I felt like source. You know, like, and I don't know what word feels good to me to say. I don't know if I want to say God, because when I grew up, God meant that all these people that I love would go to hell, you know, or it didn't mean what it means to me now. And I'm not sure what word I want to use. So I'll just what?
Love.
Yeah, I'll just use love. Wow, that was just such a big thing. I don't even remember your question.
What's an event?
An event.
And you said when you felt, quote unquote, source, love, God.
Yeah. So divine, such a divine feeling, such a safe feeling.
If you could go that moment, and I had a moment when I felt.
Yeah. Well, to me, what it looked like, or how I could picture it, is, and it happens more often now, happens actually quite frequently. But the first time that it happened, I like saw myself folding. And I saw myself surrender, but not because I had given up, but surrender as in like, and yeah, just like in trust, lack of control, just complete surrender. And I like saw myself fold forward, and and just like the warmth that I felt in my whole body, I still feel it. I still feel it. Yeah. I still very much so feel it. And it's just so pure and so beautiful and so joyous. And it's just like, it really is like everything really is okay. And I used to hate that. I used to think that that was like the stupidest thing that my therapist would tell me. My talk therapist would tell me. Oh, Debbie, everything's going to be okay. No, you don't know that. Actually, you really don't know if everything's okay. And what's okay for me may not be okay for you. So our definitions of that are different. So don't tell me that things are going to be okay. But yeah, no, things really are going to be okay. I get that now. And yeah, I don't know. Colors were there. It was beautiful. And it happened through breath work. Conscious connected breathing. But you know, the very first time that I felt it, I denied it, and I was in the mountains because I would just go get lost all the time. Because I like to like move constantly. I like to explore. I like to be in different environments, and I like to learn as much as I can about like people and things around me, mainly just so that I can understand what this is all about. You know, I like to observe. But anyways, I was like hiking, and I was hiking in Silverton. I'm not sure if you know. And it's Colorado, so one moment it's hot, next moment it's a blizzard. And I went on this hike feeling like it was hot. You know, I had shorts on and like a hoodie jacket. And I actually have a picture of me at almost 13,000 whatever feet that I took of myself, because I came across this waterfall and it had a kind of like a canyon dip. And I was just so mesmerized by it. I was like, how am I 13, however many feet up, and there's like this giant like canyon, and where's this water coming from? Like, I don't know where this water is coming from. So I started exploring, of course, and I get off the trail, and it's like summer-ish. It's right around this time, actually, like spring, summertime. And I just get lost. Time just became so irrelevant, and I was just like looking for this water source that I saw. I don't know. I was just exploring. And then a blizzard came. And I was at least 3 miles walking from like the trail, and I was hours away from my car. And I knew that the blizzard was coming because you get warnings, right? Like the sky starts to dim a little bit, and the temperature starts to be colder, and like all these things I didn't really pay attention to because whatever, I was looking for this water source. And as the storm comes in, I'm looking up, I'm like, oh shoot, I've got to run. I've got to run to my car all the way down the mountain. And then I start running, and then I start laughing because I'm cold, and I'm like, I'm not going to make it to my car in time. Like, this is so silly. I was like, I don't even like running, you know? And I was just like, man, I'm effed. I'm effed right now because I'm 13,000 whatever feet up. My phone doesn't work. I'm in shorts and a tank top, and those are snow clouds coming. But I didn't get snow, I got sleet. And so here I am walking and jogging, trying to go to the path, and I'm getting like cut by these ice cubes coming from the sky. And then I start getting hyperthermia. And then I start like laughing. And I start feeling so like, my like thoughts like, oh man, my parent, like, no, who's gonna find me? It's like my poor parents. And then I'm like, oh, it's okay. No big deal. I blame it on the hyperthermia. And then, yeah, I just like slowly start like getting down to the ground, and I'm literally just allowing this chilling rain, half sleet, half snow, just like cover me. And I'm soaking wet. My skin was so red. My hands were turning purple, and I was just starting to fade out. And it was the most beautiful experience ever. That was like the third time I was close to death, but the first time that I like felt that like definition of that everything really is going to be okay. this people, I guess, in the mountains, they were doing four-wheeling. Thank goodness she was my angel that day, even though she like runs out of the car yelling at me, like telling me, what the F am I doing? Like, what are you doing here? Is there anybody else here? And then I don't really remember. I just remember kind of like hitting my head against the like window inside their car going down the hill. And I remember like a black furry blanket. Maybe it was a towel. And then by the time I got down to my car, I don't know, it was weird. I was like, oh, I'm totally fine. Everything's okay. And they're like, oh, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, no problem. And then when I got into my car, I had slept for like 10 or 11 hours. And so clearly I wasn't okay, but they saved me. I don't even know her name. So that was a fun story.
What's
Fun time.
inspired you?
What's inspired me? Me. Yeah. Me. I inspired myself. I never had like a superhero or someone I looked up to really as a kid. I couldn't like complete those essay requirements.
What about you inspired you?
Just wanting to be happy. I really, really, really wanted to be happy. Happy more than a moment. Not that I really knew what like happiness was, but I really wanted to be happy for more than a moment. And so just doing what I wanted to do and just do my best to be good. Yeah, I really tried. I still do try to just be good. Whatever that means for me that day, because that can look different, right? But just to have like good intention. So yeah, I inspired myself. And of course I've had conversations with people that have inspired me or they've truly spoken to me. And I've had a couple of mentors in my life here and there. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes inspiration comes to me as quick as like a conversation or a look. Just like when someone says something that you just really need to hear, that like divine intervention, right? That to me is like inspiration.
What's been a humbling experience for you? Can you describe feelings in that?
Yeah. Being an adult. Like, but like what I mean by that is like, I still have so much healing to do. It's like never ending. But to be at a place where I can speak to someone that really caused significant damage because of their choice and like intentionally caused harm upon me, and I can sit there as a healed person or a healing person and speak to them and represent my old self. Yeah, that's humbling. That's humbling to me because I'm able to, maybe I'm not able to understand, right, those like choices and actions, but I'm able to gain perspective.
Can you talk a little bit more about that actual, like, so you've done this where you've talked to a person who's hurt
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. When I have talked to someone who has harmed me, intentionally or not, because there's been a handful, right? Just like everybody else. I've experienced harm. I feel humbled when I'm able to speak upon my own my own experience and not in the moment be affected by it. And I feel humbled when I just like do my best to gain perspective around like what happened beyond what happened to me. Like maybe what was the ripple effect. And I guess I use that word to be humbled. I guess, yeah, humbling is really just like being present for whatever needs to happen in that moment. I'm not sure if that's how would you interpret humiliation, humbling?
Well,
I wouldn't use the word humiliation, right? No.
But, I mean, everyone is different for everyone, right? But
right.
Same general gist, and it is perspective is humbling always.
Right. So that's exactly. I feel humbled when I can gain perspective as this person who I am now, and not from the hurt me.
Exactly.
You know.
That's humility.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's both.
Mm-hmm.
So go in your mind and think. This life event can be mental, physical, or spiritual. Tell me about a time in your life that you can relate with the word war.
Wow, that's a flood. Oh. Yeah, like what's coming to me is just the war that I have within myself, and that's consistent. That's every moment of every day. And I get to choose how I want to navigate myself. Because it's more easy for me to just give in and be pissed off. Right? It's more easy for me to give in and just go do this substance that just takes me away for a little bit. And it's so easy for me to just embody all of the rage that I still haven't processed. So I feel like there's no one event anymore, and it's in every moment I'm at like that dualistic mindset, yeah. Especially when I get activated, and I use the term activated instead of triggered. Right, I don't like triggered. Triggered to me is just connects to like the bad. Activated gives more of a choice. So, yeah, every time I'm like, yeah, activated, and that could be literally like just talking to someone that, yeah, activates a memory. Yeah.
So, it's an internal war.
Definitely internal.
I find for me personally, we all have the internal war, like honestly, to surrender.
Yeah.
And it's, maybe the experience is the same for you, but it's also like when you have the episodes where the more you fight it, the worse it is. But when you just let it be, you go through it better. So how do you surrender in that internal war tangibly?
I mean, I don't always. Yeah, I don't always. But it goes back to And I don't care what anybody says. It goes back to that split-second choice. It really is. It really is a choice. And I sometimes my nervous system is just too much, or I'm like just not, it's never too much, it's just overstimulated, or I'm just not ready, right? If I'm not ready to have this conversation, if I'm not ready to do this, or if I'm not ready to rest and like learn how to rest, then I'm not gonna make that proper choice for myself. It's just a learning process. That's why I just breathe. It's like recognizing, it's like getting to know my true self so much that I can like prepare my future self to be a little bit more aware of like my actions.
So you said it's a split-second choice.
Yeah, it's a split-second choice.
And it's almost like, since it's a split-second choice, you got to preemptively make the choice.
You gotta always preemptively make the choice. And you gotta have I have to have tools. And I have to recognize my behaviors so that I don't ever get there. I don't want to get there.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever be there. Because it's like, and I know everybody knows because they know exactly what I'm talking about. It's because the moment you get there, it's so much easier to be there again.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the moment that door opens, all of this other shit comes through, you know, and it's like, yeah. And it's weird. It's weird. No, it's sick. It's sickening because to me, and I think it's true for everyone, like when trauma hits hard and it hits in crucial times when you're like developing what life is for you, then there's like a romance to it. You know, there's like a sweet, there's just a romance to it.
Even nostalgic.
Yeah, super nostalgic. Yeah.
So the next question, it's the same type of question. Go in your mind and think. This life event can be mental, physical, or spiritual. But if you can tell us about a time that you can relate to the word peace.
Huh. I don't know that one yet. I don't know what peace is really yet. I have a concept of it, and I can think, and I can like maybe write what it may look like for me, but I don't know what it feels like yet.
Would you say maybe if you conceptualize it, that it felt like that moment when you felt that togetherness, that love, that would that come close?
So when I was thinking of the word peace, I kept seeing like being embraced. So maybe supported. Yeah, I think peace is to be supported. And it's not that I haven't been supported. I've been supported in the ways that people know how to support. I haven't been supported in a way that I feel supported. I don't really know. I don't know.
Can you tell us about a truly difficult time in your life? How that difficult time felt? How you endured or continue to endure?
A difficult time that I endured. really just proud of myself. I'm just going to say how proud I am, because like my timeline just flashed through, and all of it was endurance, just different. Yeah, so what endurance now looks like for me is maintaining a positive outlook and events are doing things that like really fulfill me and discovering like what that really looks like. And usually that's like through movement, so like hiking or dance or I don't know, whatever, just movement.
When that timeline flashed, you didn't have a specific moment, or it's just kind of like all in one
Of a difficult event.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I would say it's all in one. I mean, they're like highlights, right? You know, there's like scenarios that of course are harder than the other ones. And endurance in different ways, right? Like, yeah. Can we come back to that one? Yeah, because I feel something wanting to be said, but I'm not like connecting which, like, yeah, part of my journey that I want to share.
Can you tell us about a truly joyous moment in your life and how that felt?
Yeah, finding that source. That was like, phew, yeah, that was incredible. And it, yeah, really seeing myself surrender. Um, yeah, just really seeing myself surrender was the most joyous moment, because I just felt so connected to everything and everyone, and I understood and really comprehended that like my journey is yours. So I'm really doing the best that I can for the both of us. No, but seriously, yeah.
What after you had that moment of connection, and which you said source, God, love. Obviously, the biggest realization is that you said that we are all connected. Did you have any other epiphanies after that, as far as how to live life and how to move forward, or maybe realizations from that event?
Yeah, nothing's ever ending, which I think is really important, or I know it's really important to me to know that nothing is ending, and that it really is just like transference. That's given me a lot of comfort. And I don't mean ending like ending this life. I mean like if everything is connected, then there just can't be an end to that.
What keeps you up at night?
My daughter. I never thought I would be a mom. Even though I always wanted to be the shoe lady, right? Yeah. Even though I always wanted to be the lady in the shoe. And I was actually, I did social work for many years. I worked with at-risk youth and families. I worked with children who were abused and neglected, just to gain more insight, right? I feel like the work that I did was really just to understand what happened to me and like what was going on. But what keeps me up at night? Nothing aside from my daughter. Yeah. It used to be, I used to worry so much about my loved ones. Just because, again, like once Keto decided to take his life, then this one took their life, and this friend took their life, and this one went off and did this, so it was just like I never got to heal. And then I was introduced to more, right? And so that would keep me up at night. That would keep me up. How can I ensure that someone's going to stay alive? I roll my eyes because, like, I can't do that. But I thought I could. Or I wanted so badly to never feel that way again, and to have other people never feel that kind of loss again, that I really did want to do everything I possibly could to ensure that someone else would be happy. But I can't do that. But yeah, aside, my daughter keeps me up just because she's 3 months, and it's really cool being a mom.
Yeah.
It's like really fun. And when she's not keeping me up, I mean, I've always been aware of how much chaos there is in the world. And it's funny, it's just always so funny to me when another person is like, oh, can you believe the amount of homelessness is here? And I'm like, yeah, because it's always been there. I just kind of like laugh at that. But I'm happy that people are like now starting to see the true social environment that we live in, and not just living in their own happy, blissful box, even though I was really jealous of that for a long time. Like, I totally wish sometimes I could be living in a box and not see any of that. And to no insult, it's just some people are more aware of what's happening around them, and some people aren't. And I was always overly aware of what was happening around me. Safety thing, right? That used to keep me up a lot at night. And I guess nowadays it's starting to come back a little bit more because I'm a mom. And so now I feel like it's my duty. It is my duty as a mother to assist my child feeling safe in all situations. I can't make sure she's safe, right? But I can always be a safe vessel for her in any type of chaos. Yeah. So that keeps me up, thinking about how to navigate through that.
What keeps you going every day?
I love people, and I love life, and I want to help people love life. Yeah.
So we're almost done with the questions.
I didn't even cry?
That's
Dang!
What about if we want to go back to the difficult time? We don't have to. If it's not if there's nothing you want to share within that, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I can't speak on like a difficult event. I think just because I'm just a feeling person.
Yeah.
But I can say like an obstacle that I've had to overcome that's been really difficult is learning how to just like not be in control. Yeah, that's really difficult. Because I know that nothing is in my control aside from my choice, right? I make a choice, and that's like my control bucket. But everything outside of that, how you react to my choice isn't my control. how, I drive in the, I don't know, whatever. Life is not in my control. And so that's been very difficult for me to understand in a healthy way and not in an unhealthy way.
Imagine you're in the hospital today with only hours to live. What would be your regrets, if any?
Well, hopefully by the time I am dying, I have had those adult conversations with the people that I want to have those adult conversations with, that I need more clarity around whatever happened. Really nothing. I don't like the word regret because it makes me feel like there's always something more. And I just like to give a lot more forgiveness to myself because I like to believe that if I really did know better, then I would have done better. And I like to believe that for all people. If they really knew better, they would have done better.
You told me what your dreams were as a kid. What are your dreams now?
I really wanted to be living in the forest. I know it sounds so, but this part of Colorado is too desert-like for me. I need more stimulation. I need color. I need bees. I need Snow White, And I had that, but with the coronavirus and everything, I lost all of that. And so I did not lose it. I chose better for me than that scenario. And with that choice, I had to let go of a temporary, satisfying living scenario. See what I do there? But yeah, I really, I want land, and I want a garden again, and I want animals, and I just want trees, and I want sun. I want sun, and I want sweat, and that's it. And I just want a blanket outside and be just outside. I have not been able to be outside and enjoy being outside because my daughter's 3 months. And when we moved here, it was smoky with the fires. And so that was my entire summer. I couldn't be outside. And then wintertime, couldn't go outside. I mean, I guess I could have more, but I don't like wind. And wind here is very violent. It's unpleasant. So I don't feel like I've really been outside and have been able to enjoy life. Because to me, that's what life is, right? Life is being alone yet connected. And I connect best, and not this.
Right.
So.
You're the co-author of your life story. What's your picture perfect ending? If you could just envision a scene, and how does that vision feel?
I just want to be in a state of serenity. Yep. I just want to be at a place where I'm like, all right, I did the work, and now I can just really enjoy, whatever that looks like. Just want to really enjoy. Maybe that will be my peace, right? Maybe I'll finally feel peace whenever my story transitions to a whole new story. Because I don't think there's endings, but I think serenity. And it's interesting. I don't really know what that word means to me, but it sounds nice.
I agree.
It sounds really nice.
That's it.
Okay, that's a wrap.
How was it?
You know, it's funny.